Afternoon, traders. This is Christian from Tribeca Trade Group, and this is your end of day market recap for Wednesday, August 27th. Big day of earnings. We've got Nvidia reported after just moments ago. And I'll keep this video short because we got the conference call coming up at 5 p.m., which I think will be important. Jensen will probably talk up the company and what it's doing and also its partnerships with other companies. So I would pay attention to some of those headlines that you're going to get from directly from the conference call and mentioning who they're teaming up with, and as well as some of the enthusiasm that he's probably going to have in the earnings call. Risk disclaimer in front of you: everything that we're going through is for information purposes only, not giving any advice or recommendations. Everything that we're going through is for information purposes only. Please read the full risk disclaimer right there. As far as today was, it's kind of what we've been seeing more lately is that small caps are outperforming. Look at what the small caps did today, up 0.7 of a percentage point. Qs, once again, underperforming. I mean, not huge, but still, that's been the case. I'm going to show you a chart of that in just a second. SPY was up 0.2 of a percentage point. If you look at the performers today, this felt like it was a little bit more of a value type day. You had energy outperforming today. Retail stocks did well today. Do we have the gold miners up there again? No, actually, the gold miners were actually finished in the red. The gold miners, if have been up, like have been on a tremendous run, and I know no one seems to be talking about this, but I think the gold miners put in 5 days, 5 green days in a row, so they finished down 0.2 of a percentage point. Yesterday they were up 2.2%. Monday they were up 1/10. Friday they were up 1.5. The day before that 1.6. The day before that 3%. These things have been on fire, but they were down a little bit today. The silver miners were still up. Cyber stocks actually rallied a little bit. CrowdStrike did not have a good reaction to earnings. Their guidance was the culprit there, and they moved down on that. Any of these big tech companies, when they mention that they're bringing in their guidance, they have the price action has been hit hard to the downside. We saw that with was about a week ago. Applied Materials. COHR did that as well, and CrowdStrike had good numbers for their current quarter, but their future numbers were a little bit light in terms of the consensus guidance numbers. So regardless, there are a couple names that are up after hours. So I will go through those. Uranium names, just to kind of go over the underperformers. Chinese internet names were down 2.7%. Uranium took a step back a little bit from being I believe that was the best performer yesterday. So a little bit of digestion there. Also, clean energy stocks were down, as well as solar was down 2%. Let's go to the SPY chart here, and I think the main thing that I'm going to show you here is just the 1 hour chart, because I think what you want to pay attention to at this point is whether or not we get through last week's highs. Notice that this is, again, SPY 1 hour chart. We stopped at the top of the value area for that week, and that was on Friday where we stopped, and we kind of rallied just above there today, but you could see us coming back down. So market just doesn't seem to have right now enough power. And again, I think if you think about this logically, we're right at the end of August. There's a lot of people that are on vacation. As we get closer to the end of the week, there's going to be more participants who are taking off and lower volume. So there's nothing out of the ordinary with that. Please don't read into that. I saw somebody posting, "Oh my God, there's low volume today ahead of Nvidia." Oh my God. Please be sensible. It is a late August week where we're going into a long weekend with Labor Day. Here's the Qs. They also are having some difficulties breaking higher. This is Friday's highs. I mentioned that there's been a little bit of underperformance here with the Qs. No breakdown. I would maybe watch this week's lows and see how that materializes. And here's IWM, which is leaning on the high side. So I mentioned I would go over. I'd give you a chart. Here's IWM versus Qs, and you could see this big outperformance over the last few weeks. Essentially, from the middle of August, IWM has really been outperforming the Qs. You could look at this in terms of SPY too, just so that you could see this. Right? And I like TradingView that you're able to do this. You could see that SPYs have also been relatively outperforming Qs, not this week per se, but the week before that, SPY has been outperforming. But always good to see that with that you could put one name over another, whether it's an ETF or a single name, and you could see the ratio. So one over the other in the ticker field, in the symbol field, and you could see what's going there. Nvidia, my thought was Nvidia kind of very similar to like what I said back when Netflix reported earnings, and I bring up Netflix because it was one of the first. It was one of the bigger even though it's not tech now, it's in the communication sector, but big name that reported earnings. And I think just the issue is that it just ran a little bit too much into earnings. Right, here's what happened with Netflix. Big run into this earnings report. I didn't see anything wrong with their numbers, and they haven't done anything since. It's just a case of the fact that when you run into earnings like this, and here's where Nvidia reported earnings last time, 133. The stock's all the way at 180. So again, I don't think that there's anything really negative that they reported. The numbers that they reported excluded revenues from and guidance from China. So I think it's pretty good numbers. Again, it's just the fact that it's up a lot. Just to kind of go over a few other names that reported earnings after the close here, because you've got some real good results here, and then we'll go back to look at a few charts. Right, so you should be able to see that. All right, here's what we've got trading up after hours. Pure Storage is up 13 and a half. Snowflake is up 12. GPRE is up 8.5%. Bill is up 3.4%, and the names to the downside probably Domo's down 11.9%. CrowdStrike is down 7.7%. Urban is down 7%, and NTAP is down as well. So you've got a mix there of names going up versus and going down. Mike, just kind of quick end of day thoughts, because I don't want to go too far into um, a video here, because I do want to listen to the earnings call. But I did notice some weakness in growth stocks. Robinhood was particularly weak today. It's a stock that I have not gotten back into. I have this long in the TTG trend portfolio, but I think at this point, it really couldn't. Once it kind of broke into the value area, it really couldn't bounce back and get back to the top of the range. And like I said before, I think the stock is just due for some digestion. It's had a huge run this year. Maybe it comes into that 50-day moving average around right around 100, and then we see what we do there. Like, I might want to actually put that trade back on 100, because I've been in and out of Robinhood for a while. Also, Palantir looked a little bit heavy today. Not getting back above that value area for the year, but still above the 50-day moving average. Sorry, is that the 50-day? Yes, 50-day. It's still holding above the 50-day moving average. That's what I would really pay attention to in Palantir. Tesla had a little bit of a day of digestion. I think it's a little bit extended here above the 5-period moving average. I just want to bring to your attention a couple names that I thought were interesting that saw some call activity today. Alcoa. I've noticed a couple of these charts are starting to kind of come around a little bit. Alcoa saw a small call buyer. CLF, Cliff Resources, also saw some calls today. So perhaps somebody's looking for a little bit of a catch-up trade. Maybe if something goes on with or doesn't go on with China trade talks, maybe these stocks can do okay. What else was I paying attention to today? Again, today was a quiet day. I didn't do much trading. I thought growth was a little bit tired today, and some of the value stocks outperformed a little bit. CSX saw some calls going all the way out to June 2027. I actually took this trade. This is the only trade that I added today. Notice that price has fallen all the way down to the bottom of its value area. I think that this is good support here. So I did add this trade, even though it's not going to be as fast of a mover as a small cap growth name, I like the spot of the CSX down here, right against this 32 level. All right, guys, that is it for today's video. Again, just kind of keeping it short and sweet tonight. I think things are going to get quieter too now that we're through earnings for Nvidia. We'll have some more interesting reports tomorrow. Affirm reports after the close. I think Marvell reports as well.